Good afternoon, my name is Alan Koh. Today's health talk is on osteoporosis and how energy medicine serves to improve this medical condition even better through the support of the body's metabolic processes. Well, what's changing over time to have more and more osteoporosis in modern days? Well, look at the chart and look at the words there. The lifespan of a woman has increased over time. Now, women get this disease, this particular disease, much more so than men, and so if a lot of women get osteoporosis and there's a lot of increase of lifespan of women, then osteoporosis have got no choice but to be more and more in the community. The age of menopause is normally between 46 and 52, and 1/3 of a woman's life is spent after menopause. You see, menopause is a time that the estrogen level is being reduced or stopped altogether, and therefore lack of estrogen means more osteoporosis. Is directly proportional. So if women get into menopause, no more, hardly any estrogen coming out, it'll be a problem where osteoporosis is concerned to them. Number of aging women is increasing, as we said earlier on. 1990, worldwide population of aging women is only 470 million. By the year 2030, that's not too far from now, another 16 years, you're talking about 1.2 billion people will be the group that have stopped menses. Developing countries, 40% of them in 1990 are osteoporotic, and in the year 2030, 24%. Whereas if you look at developed countries like Singapore, America, Australia, much of Europe and so on, increased by 76% to 76% from just 60%. So it's more so in richer countries than poorer countries where osteoporosis is concerned. There are currently more than 200 million people around the world suffering from osteoporosis. And what happens to people who got osteoporosis? Well, their bones become weak and brittle, easy to fracture, due to low level of calcium and other minerals inside the bones. Other minerals will be like magnesium. And also a common result of this osteoporosis is fractures, usually in the spines, in the hips, or when we fall and try to break the fall with our hands, the wrist joint also tend to break very easily. Who are the people more at risk? As I mentioned earlier on, it would be the females, especially females over 50 years old, when menopause has quite started, or even before. When their bone mass is low, if they're a smoker, whether active or passive, if they drink excessive alcohol, all this can lead to faster, more production of osteoporosis. What are other people got more risk? Poor nutrition. If they don't eat very well, very nutritiously, and if they do not supplement, then they tend to get osteoporosis much easier than people taking calcium tablets or eating foods and beverages rich in calcium. Another group of people very succumbing to this medical condition are the non-exercising, very little physical activity per day people. Sedentary lifestyle, in other words, always lying around, doing smartphone, iPads, watching TVs and so on. Not during the kampong days and the village days where they do a lot of running and football and playing marbles and tops and all those things. So sedentary lifestyle can contribute quite easily to osteoporosis. And anyone with low estrogen level, not just menopausal ladies, but anyone at all who got low estrogen level due to some diseases like ovarian disease can actually indeed contract this medical condition easier. If you look at after mid-30s here, our bone mass start declining. That's very bad. And women lose bone mass faster after menopause. But it also happens to men where bone mass losing but lesser compared to women. Medications side effects causing osteoporosis would be the steroids, including prednisolone, when taken over long periods of time in high concentrations especially, even faster the osteoporosis comes about. Then there's some patients taking long-acting progesterone against breast cancer, against development or relapses of those like uterine cancer, cervical cancer. Yes, they tend to take this progesterone, Depo-Provera injections and so on, and they can contract osteoporosis easier. Any patients taking anticonvulsants, like those epileptic drugs against epilepsy, yes, they tend to get osteoporosis easier too. And same as cytotoxic drugs, like those killing cancer cells, cancer drugs in other words, or long-term anticoagulation drug, like those warfarin and coumadin, aspirin and so on. They are to reduce blood clotting against development of heart attacks and strokes. Yes, those side effects can lead on to osteoporosis. And lithium against some mental conditions, long-term taking this lithium can also lead on to osteoporosis. There are also hereditary or genetic causes. There's nothing much any treatments in the world can change the course of the genetic error from our ancestors right down to an unending number of generations. And up to 80% of the variability in peak bone density might be attributable to genetic factors. And female children of women who have osteoporotic fractures have lower BMD, and first-degree relatives like mothers, sisters of women with osteoporosis also tend to have lower bone mass density than those with no family history of osteoporosis. And one large study of 5 different groups of postmenopausal women in America, they found that the African Americans had the lowest bone mass density, but Asian Americans had the lowest. That means they can get osteoporosis for these Asian Americans so much easier. So it's very genetic where this part is concerned. Then if we do get a fracture, what would the complications, the effects be? Psychological trauma. Cannot do this, cannot do that. Physical disabilities. Want to play sports, could not. Morbidity. Easier to get diseases because once we are sedentary, unable to move very much, unable to exercise, then more diseases come like high blood pressure, diabetes and so on. And a huge cost of treatment too. Therefore, prevention is always better than cure. Don't wait for the fractures to come. Strengthen your bones with electric energy treatment, magnetic energy treatment, supplementation like calcium, magnesium, vitamin D. All this will be quite essential to prevent such an awful medical condition to come to our body. Electric energy treatment is still the most powerful of all energy treatments out there. And they boost cellular metabolism. That means strengthening of bone, producing more mass and so on. These are metabolic processes. By charging all the bone cells from a weak electrical activity to a very healthy electrical activity to the tune of 70 to 90 millivolts across the cell membrane. And as such, more calcium, more oxygen and other nutrients like magnesium, vitamin D will be absorbed into the bones and make the bones stronger. That's after charging the bones. And at the same time, after charging the bones, a lot of toxic waste, harmful chemicals are expelled, and therefore they cannot interfere with bone metabolisms and strengthening. So you find that your bones become much stronger against fracture, even falling from one floor down to the mezzanine and so on. You still could not get a fracture. Those who got osteoporosis, I can tell you, they slip and fall on the same level, no need one floor down, already got broken bones. Electric energy treatment also ensures that there's more production of estrogen in the ovarian cells. And with more estrogen, you would not get into the problem of osteoporosis too easily. Magnetic field treatment, on the other hand, improve blood circulation, and by improving blood circulation, there'll be a better transportation of oxygen from the lungs and nutrients from the digestive tract to all our bone areas. And also at the same time, as toxins come out of the bone cells, they need to be drained away, and our blood circulation is our drainage system. By improving it, we are improving drainage. Less toxins in the area, less entering of the bone cells, therefore less interference with the bone mass density improvement. Stronger bones, in other words. Far infrared is another treatment, also energy treatment. And once we apply far infrared to a localized area, we'll clear toxic chemicals even better in that area of the bones, and also reduce any inflammation like osteoarthritis, which is inflammation of the bones, or any nerves, neuritis innervating the bones, or any of those blood vessels vascularizing the bones can be inflamed. And all this, when you apply the far infrared in the area of the inflammation, you find that the inflammation will be reduced, and therefore the quality of bone mass and their functions will be much better after far infrared treatment than without. Thermoxybustion, on the other hand, are two treatments in one. Thermos is the heat, the thermal heat. Moxibustion is the stimulation of the meridian points, leading to maintenance of good qi flow or unblocking blocked qi flow. So look at thermos first. The heat can dilate blood vessels, causing a better blood flow. The heat can also help to reduce blood clots, yet better facilitation of blood flow. So better blood flow to the bones means more oxygen and nutrients are transported there, more metabolic waste, toxic, harmful chemicals will be expelled. Therefore, it prevents reduction of bone mass when you do thermoxybustion treatment. And as I said, another benefit of the moxibustion is the unblocking of qi flow by stimulating the local meridian points, and also an additional support to energize bone cells, I should mention, for better repair and recovery. So when you add all these four treatments together, energy treatments, there's no option but for the osteoporosis to be either prevented from happening altogether, or if they've happened, they could recover better upon energy medicine than without. Thank you very much.